I hope. Yes, there we are. We're live. It is the Kent Beck Scrum on a Thursday. We have Sam, we have Will, we have Ben. The Scrum, we go around, we talk about what we're doing, if we're blocked by anything, and then see if we can help each other out. So right now, I've just been working through tickets from the local support project. I got a list of tickets that were kind of under-specified, and I've been adding notes to those. I'm also in the background working on trying to get HTTPS set up via Let's Encrypt on that same project. That's the main thing. Before that, we had the marketing meeting, getting the new newsletter out. After this meeting, we're going to have the local support project things, kickoff weekly meeting, things basically under control. Will, how are things going with you?
I've had an interesting afternoon. I've been thinking quite deeply about what I should be and shouldn't be testing, which I hadn't been forced to do before. And I've been on the Gitter, the Solidity chat rooms and things, and I think I've got a good answer now, so I'm happy about that.
Oh, good.
And then this evening, I'm going to do some work on the RFM.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or after this call at least, before the hopefully before the meeting.
Cool. Yes. So the RFM weekly meeting coming up as well.
Yeah.
Great.
But yeah, and I'm all good. No blockers or anything.
Great. And we've got Ben and Tumatogoto as well, who I think both are first-time Scrummers. I think also in the AV102 course. Ben, how are things going with you?
Things are going relatively well, I guess. I've started working on the Wikipedia application there, the Agile Ventures Wikipedia editing community editing application, and I'm looking at a feature that I haven't been assigned yet, but I've been talking back and forth about that, and it's kind of slow going because I'm attempting to understand how React and Rails communicate with each other in that particular application, and the data flow is kind of difficult. And I think I've gotten a handle on exactly what needs to be changed and where. And so now I'm sort of thinking through exactly what tests I should write before I start actually attacking the problem. So that's where I'm at right now.
That sounds good.
That stuff.
Yeah, great stuff. And are you blocked by it? It sounds like it's all going well, and you're just getting ready to move forward.
I don't have any specific questions to really propose right now about exactly what might be blocking me. I wouldn't say I'm not blocked, but but at this point it's sort of a situation where I wasn't actually sure coming into this exactly what I was supposed to bring to the table, because the assignments in 102 is rather vague, and I was expecting that I would just be able to sort of listen in on some other thing and propose a vote or something.
And that's entirely what you can do. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you're not required to give an update, but you're certainly welcome to. And you've given us an update, and it was good to hear. I mean, it's as you say, like the React Rails stuff. Great to know what you were working on, and you can join these meetings independently of AV102 if you just want to join us and tell us what you're doing, or just listen to what we're doing. That's fine, totally fine.
Okay, so my question is then, in what way is this a Scrum? Because I've read the descriptions of Scrums as the components of the Agile methodology, where people get together and do what they do. But are these Scrums in the strict Agile sense?
Well, I think it depends on which master or mistress you went to. I mean, in that the very simplest interpretation of Scrum is that it's like a stand-up. It's that you have a quick meeting, you go round everybody, you check in how they're doing, are they blocked, and so on, and then having done that check-in, you sort of finish that, and then you can work. People who want to stay and work on resolving any of those blocks will do so. I mean, I think when you talk about the bigger Scrum methodology, that fits into sort of having 2-week sprints. And you have a Scrum kickoff, and you have the retrospective, and so on. And so we are doing that. And so, for example, after this meeting now, there'll be the local support kickoff, and so on. But we run this. We've adapted the Scrum methodology for multiple open source projects running in parallel, and for the distributed nature. So people kind of drop in and drop out, and there's a sort of a pool of projects So Will was there talking about the Y project. I was talking about the local support project. Depending upon the time of day and the prevailing winds, one might have a big chunk of people talking about Website One or what have you. But it's sort of, yeah, we've sort of set these things up as a kind of a looser formed Scrum to allow anybody anywhere in the world, rather than just, you know, suffering in silence, as one may often do on open source projects, is to kind of come in and get help and support and see friendly faces and that kind of thing.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I know I definitely will have something the next time I join one of these, for sure.
Good show. Good show. Great. Well, and we can certainly get around to voting on a story for you in a moment, which I think is your main blocker that you need for the course. But great to meet you, Ben. And then also we have now you'll have to help me pronounce your name. Is it Tumatokto, or how do you?
Hi. You can call me Tim. It's easier.
I'll call you Tim. All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lovely to meet you, Tim. How are things going with you? You're doing the AV 1 and 2 course as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm doing that AV 1 and 2 course and the online Scrum.
Yeah, and so you're I hope everything's going well. You're looking to vote on a story as well.
Yeah, I'm in the wiki project contributor. I'm looking at the description and the dashboard and settings, and I'm also on a contributor on the peer reviews. But I think this project is not started yet. They're talking about some energy and some stuff, but website in the Git is not started yet, I think. Working around the projects for now.
Sure. Yeah. No. Well, wonderful that you're involved also in the Wiki EDU project. Tim and Ben, you might even be interested to pair at some point on that. Unfortunately, I mean, in terms of what would be great for you guys is if we did vote on a story on the Wiki EDU project. Although, as Sage tells me, I think they tend to just, you know, do the tickets and they don't do the voting stuff. So I guess now we've
I asked Sage about that, and that's what he told me. So.
Yeah, and that's partly also the philosophy with Agile Ventures is there's lots of different projects, and I mean you know, if you ask me what Agile is, the fundamental thing is that you're allowed to experiment with different approaches, and that the critical thing is not that you have stand-ups or that you have sprints, or the critical thing is that you reflect. So it's all, I think being agile is all about saying, how have they lost 2 weeks, 4 weeks? Let's make a change, shall we? So for example, in local support, we originally only voted on features, and due to then the feedback from people in the community, we've started voting on, we're doing even more voting. So we've gone in a different direction. And so every project within Agile Ventures is free to explore, you know, a different mode and style to work, you know, in the best way for its contributors for the project. But what they really all should be doing is being open to trying changes and seeing how those go, because I think that's the kind of the heart and core of Agile, if you ask me. But I think that's our Scrum. I think we did everybody. Does anybody have anything that they forgot that they want to bring up?
No, I don't think so.
Nope. If not, then I think we've done the Scrum portion is over. We can now move into doing a quick vote. I guess probably the quickest thing, I mean, since I've been looking at it, is to do a vote on something from local support. I've got the board here with me. Let's pull that up here. I've just been reviewing all of these tickets. Let's have a look. So we've got the board here. I've got something at the top there. So let's just find something that might. Okay. Yeah. Well, here, this is a reasonable one actually. So we've got this. So I'll just show you the local support site. As you may or may not know, there's local support, the software that supports the Harrow Community Network, which is this system for mapping all the volunteer opportunities in Northwest London in the UK. And it's got an embedded map, and it's got a list and so on. And we've been running this sort of the original, even before there was Agile Ventures, there was local support and the Harrow Community Network. So it's ongoing, 5 years old, I think, right about now, actually. So what's happening there? Yeah, so we, at the moment, it has a couple of kinds of things in it it's got volunteer opportunities. We've also got organizations there. We are currently working on adding events to the system so that local community groups could add, an event that happens at a certain time, and that's all been voted on, and it's sort of being worked on by different people. The ticket I'm going to propose voting on here now, that I was just updating, is about support for repeating events. So the current event stuff, you just put in a single date. It's not linked live into the site, but I believe we have like a MVP interface in there. If I can log into the site, here we go. Let's get in there. And it hasn't remembered the thing. Come on, events/new. So there we go. Yeah, so we've got a rather cumbersome. It's just like a first pass. This would be how you would create a new event. At the moment, we've got somebody working on a nicer calendar plugin pop-up for that. But at the moment, the event just has a start date and an end date, and it's been proposed that we might want to have a support for repeating events that would recur weekly or twice weekly or monthly, and so on. So we've got that there. We do have that functionality in the website one site for repeating events and so on. So we might use our special voting technology to do a vote on this. But the important thing before that is, I know this is like maybe completely new to some of you. Does that make sense as a functionality that we might implement?
Yeah, it certainly makes sense. Yeah.
Show. Well,
repeating events, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, being able to say, you'd still want to set the start and possibly duration or start and end time of the event, but you'd want to also be able to say, right, this happens every day, or it happens on weekdays, and like weekly, fortnightly, monthly, the usual sorts of things. Now, what I've done is I've popped up a little voting app in the local support channel, which Ben and Tim might not be in. I'm just going to invite you into the channel there.
This is on the Pivotal Tracker there?
No, so this is in the Slack instance that I think you're both in. And so, yeah, and I'll just
local support. There it is. Got it.
Yeah, I've got some automated welcome messages that I'll just delete that from there. So if you should be able to see a little interface there, which it has got a link to the ticket as well. But yeah, and Will's just gone ahead and voted on it. And so you can click, one for, this is a relatively simple feature. Usually that's like for just simple changes to the interface. 2 is, if we've got to use a new gem that we haven't used before, if we got to make some changes to the database structure, it might be a 2. And then if it's like, oh gosh, oh nasty, here be dragons, if it might be a difficult one, then we could click 3. And of course, if despite all the discussion or any questions that you might have, you're really not sure, then you're more than welcome to click no opinion. So if you're, but it's really, the voting is all about exposing assumptions and prompting discussion. Does anybody have any further questions about the issue?
About the repeating event issue? Is that?
Yeah, about how difficult that might be to do in Rails, or so the support. It's a Rails project, Rails 4.
I see. And there already exists robust functionality for creating events that don't happen to be repeating events.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Okay. So it really is just sort of enhancing that.
Yes.
Creating, sort of duplicating it and adding a couple different bits of data to it.
That is correct. And we did do that already in our other Rails project, well, one of our other Rails projects, the Agile Ventures site, and we used the Ice Cube gem, which kind of will work out for you all these things in a relatively straightforward fashion.
Oh, well, that actually changes it, because there's a gem you can use that where you don't even have to write the code. That
right. Indeed.
I don't know if it was simple. I would still say medium. I'm going to say medium.
Well, and since you're the last vote, that we can go ahead and do that. The idea partly is for you to not tell us in advance, because the whole idea with this is that you can sort of vote in secret, and then finally I press the reveal button.
Oh, I missed that bit. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that was part of the thing.
Yeah, no problem at all. The idea is particularly to avoid that situation where somebody comes in with a strong opinion and then everybody just agrees with them because they're polite, and so it was there was no problem in this situation because when you mentioned your vote, everyone had already voted, and in fact, we've actually all agreed on medium, and so we're all done. So that was great. So we can stick that on as now. Of course, it's all a little bit artificial here, in as much as like the two of you are not working on the project. Usually, it should be the team of the project who are voting on that thing. But you know, here we are in our loose distributed structure. You know, just sort of giving you some of the experience of doing the voting, which you might not get in some other projects. But so you'll now have in the channel a link to both the story itself and the video of us voting on it, which is what you need for your assignment, and you're all done.
Okay.
Great stuff. Well, it's lovely to meet both of you. I've got to nip off now to the local support meeting. If you guys want to pair up on anything, these are also pair hookups. So I think, Will, you've been working on the RFM project. It looks like both Ben and Tim, you're working on the Wiki EDU dashboard. Yeah, I'll stop the broadcast, but you guys can keep chatting in this room. I'll see you real soon. Bye for now.
Okay, thanks.